This is a scary sound that has been recorded in the mountains of Iceland. The locals heard it and started running away. What was this sound? Is it still there? And could it come to America? In 2016, a strange booming noise echoed through the mountains of southern Iceland. Locals reported hearing what sounded like a jet engine, but it wasn't coming from an aircraft. It wasn't even coming from this world. This is what makes this story one of the scariest mysteries of modern times. What if I told you that there are actually plenty of similar cases of mysterious booms being reported all around the world? In fact, just 2 years ago in 2019, a similar event took place near Mount Herkulfusa in the same region of Iceland. The mountain is about 3,700 feet high, which is over 1,000 feet taller than the Empire State Building. The day before the boom was heard, scientists had recorded a 4.9 magnitude earthquake nearby, but there was no actual damage, so it was considered a silent earthquake. Maybe the earthquake caused a rock slide or a volcanic eruption deep underground, making the sound of a jet engine. But it's hard to say because when they investigated, they found nothing. Then we have another case from July of 2018 when many residents of Casper, Wyoming, heard a loud explosion. They assumed it was a small earthquake, perhaps even a meteor. But the US Geological Survey confirmed there were no earthquakes or meteors. Again, there was no evidence of what could have caused such a loud sound. So what do these cases have in common with the mysterious sound recorded in the mountains of Iceland? Well, not only were there no apparent causes for the sounds, but those who heard them said that they weren't just sounds, but terrifying experiences. Before we can figure out how realistic this story is, we need to hear more about the story itself. Remember, this happened in 2016 in southern Iceland. It was the height of summer, so the sun was shining and birds were singing. Then suddenly, the peaceful atmosphere was broken by the sound of a roaring jet engine. It first happened near the town of Vik. Many people heard the noise and thought that an airplane must have crashed, so they went outside to see if they could find anything, but there was no sign of a jet or any other kind of aircraft. They looked up into the sky and saw nothing but clouds. Then the boom happened again and again. A lot of tourists were in the area at the time and they were shocked. They thought they would die. Many people ran away from the area as fast as they could, but the noise followed them. It seemed like the whole country was going to blow up. Some people even tried to hide in their cars, but eventually the tires burst under the immense pressure. It was like a horror movie. It continued for many hours and then finally stopped. Everyone was confused and scared. No one knew where the sound came from. People couldn't sleep that night. They were too worried that the noise would start again and destroy everything. But in the morning, they woke up to an eerie silence. They looked everywhere but couldn't find anything. They didn't know what to do. Then some people had an idea. They needed to find someone who could explain what happened. So they drove to the nearest big city, which is called Hafnarfjörður. There they met with experts who tried to figure out what happened. Scientists came up with many theories. Some said that it might have been a sonic boom from an airplane flying at supersonic speeds, but others pointed out that airplanes don't make a sound like that. They decided to look for answers in the mountains, and that's when things got even weirder. As they were driving through the countryside, they saw something unbelievable. Thousands of little pebbles that were perfectly round. It looked like someone had put them there on purpose. But no one had been living in this area for hundreds of years. It was uninhabited. Even stranger, when they picked up the pebbles, they felt strangely heavy. The scientists exchanged worried glances. What did it all mean? Was this some kind of warning? No one knew. They continued their investigation, but there was nothing left to discover. They didn't find any evidence of what had happened, and soon after they gave up. The mystery of the noise has never been solved. To this day, no one knows what caused it, and some people say that it's still there. Now, let's talk about whether this story is true or not. Where did it come from? Did it really happen in Iceland? The good news is that this story is 100% realistic. It isn't made up or copied from a book. There are real reports of a mysterious sound being heard in Iceland back in 2016. There are also similar reports from other countries. In 2019, a mysterious noise was heard in England. It was compared to the sound a bomber would make when dropping a bomb. Many people were scared, thinking it was the beginning of World War III. But the British government said that it was nothing to worry about. They couldn't figure out what caused it, and in 2018, a loud explosion was heard across New Zealand. It was so loud that people thought their houses were going to collapse. But once again, scientists couldn't find the cause. This brings us to the question, what does it all mean? Why are these mysterious sounds happening all around the world? Some people believe that they're a sign of the apocalypse. They think that the end of the world is coming soon and that's why these sounds are getting louder. There are even videos on YouTube that try to prove this theory, but honestly they don't show anything. Most of the time these sounds are caused by natural phenomena. For example, earthquakes can sometimes make a loud noise, even if they aren't strong enough to be felt. This is known as an earthquake growl, but other times, scientists are totally baffled. They don't know what causes these sounds, which is what makes them so scary. We live in a world where science has advanced more than ever before, We can explore space, clone animals, and even create artificial intelligence, but we're still afraid of the unknown. These mysterious sounds remind us that there are still many things we don't understand, which means we can't predict what will happen in the future. And that's what scares us the most. So to answer the question in the title, the scary sound in the mountains of Iceland is likely not a sign of the apocalypse. It was probably just a natural phenomenon that we don't understand yet. But as technology advances and our knowledge of the world grows, who knows what we might discover? Maybe someday we'll find out that these sounds are part of a secret government experiment or an alien invasion force. But until then, we'll just have to keep guessing. If you want to learn more about unexplained mysteries, stay tuned. We'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching. See you next time.